So this weekend I went to see the Amazing Digital Circus, the last act in theaters. And if you want a taste of that adventure, you can watch my short about Pomni's adventure. So I've been following the Amazing Digital Circus since day one, and a lot's happened in those 3 years since the show started. Like, I graduated college, got a full-time job, started a YouTube channel, played a bunch of games, and the Digital Circus has always been a show that I could put on in the background while I was doing schoolwork, homework, work, or editing a video. I could just put it on. And it was a lot of fun watching the premieres of all the episodes with like a million other people. It was like a big event to look forward to. So it kind of feels like an end of an era, or I guess the start of an era, since Glitch is launching other shows like the Game Oververse and the Knights of Guinevere and stuff. And other indie animated shows are still going strong, like Hell of a Boss and Has Been Hotel. So there's a lot more that could still make it to the big screen. Or probably will in the next few years, just like the Digital Circus. Which brings me to the point of this video. I saw the last act in theaters and I want to share my thoughts on it as a fan. The first half of this video is going to be completely spoiler free, so you're safe. And the second half will contain spoilers, but I'll give you a warning when it's spoiler time. First up, I wanted to clear up some confusion that I've been seeing online. When you go to see the movie, it's episode 8, which is already on YouTube, plus episode 9. And episode 9's like 40 minutes, I think. So the 2 episodes together, plus the special intro that they do for the movie, is about an hour and a half long. I've seen reviewers going to the movie not knowing that it was going to be episode 8 and 9, and being upset that it's like stuff that they've already seen, which I don't get because the trailers made it clear that it was going to be episode 8 and 9. So this is just a PSA of what you're going into. I am glad that they did put episode 8 in theaters with episode 9 because the ending leads straight into the finale. Episode 9 picks up right where episode 8 leaves off, and the tone would feel really weird if you just went straight into episode 9. I think they're meant to be watched together, because the start of episode 9 essentially drops you straight into the climax of the show. Some things I liked about the finale: I definitely liked the music and the animation. There's a few shots in the finale that mirror or parallel shots from the first episode, and not only does that show how much the animation's improved, but it's also great visual storytelling. I also liked the outcomes for the characters. I think the story ends in a way that brings a satisfying conclusion to the characters' stories. And speaking of stories, we get Jax's backstory, along with other members of the circus like Ribbit and Kaufmo, and I thought that was great. It does a good job of explaining why Jax is the way that he is, and it gave me a theory about how Jax ended up in this circus that I'll talk about in the spoiler part later. Also, not really related to the movie, but I just loved how everyone at my theater brought something special for the finale. Like, there was a ton of people in cosplay, and a lot of people brought their plushies and their merch too, like I did. And the crowd was very into the movie. They all applauded at the end, they gasped and they laughed at different parts. You'll probably know which parts I'm talking about when you go and see it. And shout out to this one kid who, after the end of the movie, stood up in the front row and went, "This truly was our amazing digital circus." What a legend. On to the negatives. The only one I can really say without getting into spoilers is that if you're looking for the finale to answer every single question or address every mystery, it doesn't do that. The finale is very character focused more than lore focused, so it will leave you with questions unanswered, but in my opinion, they're not really important to the story that the show's trying to tell. But that'll be it for the non-spoiler section, so now it's on to spoiler time! Oh, it's right, I just pulled up my notes. So I loved the intro that they added for the movie version, where the fish voiced by the Smiling Friends guy asked you not to spoil anything for people in the theater, but he did say it was okay to talk about the finale online, so I'm not breaking any rules here. But he does a little funny bit, and he had my theater laughing, and I was literally saying before the movie, I bet they're gonna do a special intro for the movie. I was right. So episode 8 plays, and then it goes straight into the finale with the characters dealing with the loss of Kane, and also discovering the truth about what they are. Big heavy spoilers now. They are brain scans of real people that Kane the AI managed to get working and brought them into the digital circus. I know this was the most popular fan theory, that the characters were just copies of their real selves and not actually trapped in the circus, and it does make a lot of sense. And then I like that it shows them slowly taking their time to come to terms with that information and to rebuild the circus, except for Jax, who just abstracts without warning. And it may feel a bit abrupt and underwhelming in the moment, but I do think it's perfect for what the story was trying to say. Like, you never know what people are going through until one day they're just gone. And you even get the line of Pomni wishing she had just asked Jax or like pried a little bit more. And then after that, we get a moment between Pomni and Ragatha before they go to rally the troops to deal with the abstraction, which is nice, but I feel like their friendship's kind of been rocky since the start. And I'm not sure if the moment feels completely earned. Maybe I'll probably have to watch it again. And then there's this series of funny scenes where Pomni goes into Jax's head, basically, and talks to different versions of him, and it's great. Then we finally get to see Jax's backstory. I think it was really well done. Not only do we get a great understanding of Jax and why he is the way that he is, but we also get to spend time with the other previously unseen members of the circus, like Ribbit and Kaufmo, which I really enjoyed. And then finally, somehow, Kane returned. I don't know, he's just back. He was dead and now he's not. I don't know how he survived. But he gains limited access to the internet and learns more about the real world and finally comes to understand why the crew of the circus don't like him and want to get out. So he gathers up information about their real selves and what they did after being scanned into the circus and comes back to make amends with the crew, giving them control of the circus and offering to just live alongside of them instead of being the ringmaster. And finally, they sit down and watch a PowerPoint of the accomplishments of their real selves and also finally get their names back. It's a really good scene that brings closure to their stories, learning that they got to live out their dreams that we learned about in previous episodes. And we end with a compilation of the gang going on more adventures of their choosing instead of ones Kane cooked up for them. So the finale really is about accepting your situation and making the most of it, and that's great, but it's also kind of depressing that they're stuck in the circus forever. But overall, the finale was great. It was a fitting ending for the characters and their stories. It wasn't grand or super action-packed, but the show's never been that. It's always been very character focused even during the adventures. And I love the post-credit scene where they basically did a Avengers Assemble of all of their real selves meeting up at a bus stop. And people have already found that bus stop in real life. I've seen posts of people going there and leaving pictures and messages and stuff. And that's pretty cool. So yeah, I recommend going to see it in theaters. Come have a good time, hang out with the fans. But that's all for me. Have a great day, and I will see you all later. Bye-bye!